Alright, welcome back, guys. We just got back from lunch. Sun, Coney Island is so good. Woo! I done made a mess though. I got chili all over my pants. But anyways, I was just sitting here admiring this Christmas tree that Jamie put up in the shop. It's a nice little addition. Reminds me of a past whenever I used to could afford a Christmas tree. Uh, we I know we're playing a role in this game, but we really just don't have a lot. But we are so very thankful for what we do have. Jesus has given us eternal life. We got a house. It's not the best house. In fact, it's an old shotgun house in Louisiana. Old house. It was made back in the 1940s, I want to say. I think is what we found out. Um, it's been added on to a little bit, but I mean we really don't have a whole lot, guys. But we're still thankful for it. But you know, if I can at least have a Christmas tree in my you know automotive pretend automotive business, it's nice. That's all I can say. I'm grateful for what I have. But anyways, guys, so let's and I hope, I really do hope that somebody watches this one day and really understands the importance of Jesus in your life. Like I used to not even be a believer, and I am now, and things are so much better. I'm pretty sure people are like, you're living in a shotgun house. You don't have very much. I know I don't have very much, but I have what I need, and that's all that matters. You'll find out if you are surrounded by things that you want, you just want more. That's all it is. Once you get the thing that you want, there's always the next target to go for. I'm not saying, don't set goals in your life, but if you're going to set goals in your life, allow Jesus to be a part of them and watch them work. That's all I can say. Because I didn't do that whenever I was younger and I lost my business. This is the closest thing that I'll probably ever have to an auto mechanic business. And I'm glad I'm able to tell people about Jesus and tell them about real things about their car. I mean, I understand, guys, that this is a game. There's a lot of aspects that are missing into here, but I fill in the gaps with important information. And I try to help people and tell them things, that could help them in real life on their own cars. It's not just in a game. The things that I tell you apply to real vehicles in real life. That was one of the gifts that Jesus gave me, was to be mechanically inclined and work on cars. And I used to help people like this, exactly what I'm doing into here, and then I fell into money, and that's all it took. Once I started chasing that money, it was downhill from there. But anyways, guys, let's I just thank Jesus of where I'm at today. I don't even want to think about those times because it really upsets me because of how dumb I was, and to where I could be at today. So, but the thing is, I probably wouldn't have been here telling y'all about Jesus if I would have kept on the road that I was on. I would have been probably out taking a vacation, just worrying about me and my family and nobody else. So there ain't nothing wrong with being a poor, wretched person like I am. Because that's exactly what I am. I'm not a famous YouTuber. I'm not a famous person at all. But I give Jesus credit for everything that I am and the importance of what I am in other people's lives. So, alright. So, where we left off at, we was assembling this customer's vehicle. I tried to clean their throttle body. It wouldn't let me do it, so I guess it's in good enough condition. And, guys, we're going to put this thing on the dyno. I want to see what type of power that this car is throwing down after we done this. But, we're going to have to add fluids. We're going to go ahead and add our oil now. Since we are putting new parts into here, we're going to go ahead and add some Hyperlube, mix it in with the oil. I think this engine only holds like 4 quarts of oil, so we're going to add, we're going to do 3 quarts of oil, 1 quart of Hyperlube. And this takes a 0W20. Takes a very thin synthetic oil. I looked up the car that this car could have been labeled after, and it looked like it was like a Toyota Yaris. Either way, it's a 3-cylinder Toyota motor. The new Toyota 3-cylinder that they got produces like almost 300 horsepower, and it's designed like a diesel motor, but it runs it runs gas. It's crazy that the new technology that they're coming out with, and just imagine if they took that same concept and made it a V series engine and added let me see, a V8, 7 more cylinders to this, or not 7 more cylinders to this, but 5 more cylinders. Dude, this thing would be crazy. But anyways, that's just me. I'm a gearhead. I love performance. I love to go fast. But I don't do it, unsafe. Safety is the main goal, guys. I mean, what's the point of going fast one time and dying because you're not being safe whenever you can be safe, go fast, and not have to worry about hurting yourself or nobody else? Nothing wrong with going fast. If you think that, oh, people shouldn't be able to go fast in their vehicles, well, guess what? You're following up underneath the laws of socialism. The government, you'll see how good it is whenever the government takes over and we have no decision to do nothing. And just to think about it, all the people that died for our country, for our freedom, is turning to be an absolute waste nowadays. We're getting ran by the government, guys. Y'all don't see them taking over stuff. They're trying to kill our food supply. They're trying to do all types of stuff. They're trying to make it where we have to rely on them 100% because they do not want us to have the freedoms no more. And because of certain bad people is the reason why they want to do this. So, one bad apple ruins the whole barrel. Just telling you. So, that's the reason why in Jesus' mythology, whenever he tells us his Christianity, that if a part of your body is contaminated with sin, cut it off, get rid of it. I mean, don't kill yourself, but he's saying that it's, if you do bad things with your hands, he says remove them. I mean, it's better to be missing a hand than burning for eternity, and realistically it is. I mean, but I ain't telling nobody to go out there and go cut off their hand or gouge their eyes out because they want to look at dirty stuff on a computer. It just says watch it. If you get the urge to do something bad, just immediately pray, because that's not Jesus, guys. That is the devil playing with you, toying with you, trying to see if you can break the rules. Jesus and God are never going to allow you to encounter something that you cannot defeat because of your weakness, because of your weakness to sin and giving in to the devil. That's the only reason why you fail, is because the devil tricks you. That's it. He makes things happen in your life. Maybe you're ignored by your wife. Maybe you're ignored by your husband, and it makes you have the urges to do bad stuff against your marriage. Don't do it. If it's getting that bad and somebody is ignoring you to the point to where you can't even have a relationship, that they're already breaking scriptural, laws there. You're not supposed to deprive your second person of their needs and wants. And private time with your husband or wife is not a want, it's a need. You have to have that to build the bond. I mean, it's an absolute need. It's not a want. You got to have that to keep the security in your relationship. Because if they're not getting it from you, they're getting it from somebody else. I already know about it. And I'm not talking about dirty stuff, guys. So if people want to go there, get your mind out of the gutter. But it can relate to that too. But I'm talking about the attention, the one-on-one time. But it also reflects in other categories, which, this is a children channel, so we're not going there. We are simply talking about spending time with each other. That quality time, family time. Alright, so let's we're putting all of our containers. We're just going to put new containers in there. These things are only a couple of bucks, guys. We're not going to worry about that. We're not going to put some garbage back into there. We want them to come back to us. So we are going to put their original, well, we fixed all of this, so we was able to clean it all out. So that's it, guys. We got the engine back together. We got oil in the motor, so all we got to do is start adding fluids. We're going to go ahead and put our coolant in. Man, I hope my vapes come in this one. I was hoping that they come in before the weekend. Man, it's getting rough. I've done fought smoking cigarettes for so many years, and I know a lot of people, well, you went to a vape, they're way worse. Whatever people tell you about vapes being way worse, they are highly incorrect. The only reason why they are any more dangerous than a cigarette is because you're building resistance on a batteries. And the earlier vapes, whenever people was blowing these huge clouds of smoke everywhere, they were putting too much resistance on a battery, which if you do that to a battery, it produces a hydrogen gas that is highly explosive, and all it takes is a spark, and then it blows up in your face. So that's worse than a cigarette. Yeah, I understand that. But if you follow the law of the Ohm law, I forgot who created the Ohm law. You don't have to worry about a battery blowing up in your face. That is once again the mistake of man. But if you follow the electrical Ohm law, you don't have to worry about that. Now, as for vaping versus smoking, I'm going to tell you firsthand, it is a lot better. But if you don't do neither, don't do it. Lord have mercy. Do not get addicted to nicotine because it is extremely hard to get off of. Don't do it, guys. I know y'all little ones out there, every year these kids are getting more and more like adults, quicker and quicker. Things are being introduced to them so early because the world is so wicked that we live in. So it's better off to tell them, look, y'all are going to encounter it. I never thought I would see elementary school kids with vapes, and I'm seeing it nowadays. But would I rather them have a vape versus a pack of cigarettes any day of the week? Because it don't matter what we do, guys. They're going to get the stuff. There's no way that we can keep them from it. I tried to do it with my kids, and it didn't happen. You know, because of other people's children, because of undisciplined stuff going on, it was introduced to them. And it was my fault for not saying anything about it. I never did think I would have to tell my kids about, hey guys, don't pick up a vape, don't do this, don't do that, because I never thought that they would be introduced to it that early, and I was wrong. Because I didn't tell them to leave it alone. They thought it was okay. They see me with a vape. They knew the cigarettes were bad. They avoided them, but they didn't avoid the vapes. And, you know, now I got one that likes to vape, and I have to keep taking them away from him and telling you, boy, you need to quit doing it. I know it's not as bad as a cigarette. I'm living proof of it. I mean, they're not. My lungs are so much better. I can breathe. I used to have to sleep with a CPAP machine at night. I don't have to do that no more. The cigarettes is what was causing problems with my heart, my health, all around. The cigarettes are the worst thing you can do. You're putting burning carbon dioxide in your lungs. I mean, even whenever I had my medical cannabis, you know, I went to the vape version of that, because I did not want anything burning going into my lungs. But anyways, we're going to get back on the car. I'm just thankful for, you know, the things that Jesus got me out of. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be going down this road. He can get you out of anything, guys. It does not matter what you run into. And I'm talking to everybody out there. You know, maybe there is parents out there that are having problems with their child vaping. Maybe there's parents that don't have this problem. They got their kids up underneath a good firm hold. You know, that's a good thing. You know, you got your kids in control, but there's some people out there that don't have their kids in control, if y'all ain't noticed that. So, just giving light in a dark world. That's all I'm doing. I'm not promoting anything bad. But we got this engine assembled, so let's go ahead and get it moved to the dyno shop. And we're going to see what type of numbers we're putting down. Alright guys, so I got this car strapped down. You know, we got the laptop in here. We're going to see what type of numbers we're running. We're going to keep this hood open. Let's just crank it up first and let it get up to operating temperature. Dude, this thing sounds pretty cool. Well, you can hear that lift. And it don't even have a cam in it. Let's make sure this is rev limiter. Alright guys, you really wouldn't rev up a car like that, but since there's no sense of time in this game, what you would want to do after you build, you know, fully assemble an engine, crank it up, do not rev it up, let it sit there and idle until it gets up to operating temperature, and I'd probably let it sit there, make sure the cooling fans turn on, you know, let it sit there for a couple of hours and just sit there and idle. Let everything new with a new mechanical mating surface, where two pieces of metal are now touching each other, or it's got oil floating in between it, let everything break in at idle before you start giving it RPM and, you know, making sure you ain't got nothing going wrong. And listen, keep your ear to the engine, which you can take a wooden rod or a metal piece of metal and just rest it. Like, you can rest it literally like right here on top of the motor and put it up to your ear, and you can hear everything inside this motor. It's like a little microphone. They also got a stethoscope that's got a metal rod on it where you can touch the motor and you can hear stuff a lot better with your ears. You can find out where knocks are coming from, ticks are coming from. Those little tools are great. But just watch it. They can be really loud. If you got something that's a prominent noise, you don't want to use that then. It's better to use a old shop broom, wooden broomstick, or maybe an extension, and put your hand in between the extension and your ear and listen. Because if you take the stethoscope and stick it straight to this motor and something is bad, that can rupture your eardrums, it being so loud. But anyways, let's go ahead and see what the dyno numbers are. Alright, so it produced 90 horsepower at first. I guarantee you we're going to break 100 horsepower. Actually turned up more RPM. It reprogrammed it to 5,000, probably 500 RPM. That's the peak RPM and torque at which your power starts dropping off at. So let's see, 1,000, 2,000, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that is 500, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. Yeah, at 5,000 RPM, it starts losing. For every block is 500 RPM. So your first two lines, that's 1,000 RPM. You just got to look at the graph and see how they got the graph laid down in your overall horsepower and torque curve. So it makes its maximum torque at 3,000 RPM. It makes its maximum torque. And then it starts falling off, and the crossover is at like 4,800 horsepower is where the horsepower starts exceeding torque, which is what gives you your upper end power. The low end power is your torque. You want a lot of torque because, you know, you're rolling a vehicle. Once the vehicle is rolling, your horsepower is what comes into play through the rest of the RPM range. So we gained 7 horsepower on a car that only come with 90 horses. That is a huge amount of gain. 10 horsepower is literally over 10% of the car's overall thing. I don't even know what the weight of this car is. Let's see. This car dang, my Civic weighs less than this, and it's got 230 horsepower. This car probably wouldn't be that fast, but I'm telling you, the new Toyota that they got with that new 3-cylinder in it, it's producing like 200, like a 300 and something horsepower. Can you imagine a 330 horsepower? I think it had more torque than horsepower. It's like 400 foot-pounds of torque in a car that only weighed like 2,000 pounds. Man, that thing would be ridiculous. And you'd be killing everything out there on the street, especially if it was all-wheel drive. But anyways, so the car is doing good. Everything checks out. We're gonna move it over here to the alignment rack. You know, just check over everything for the customer, make sure everything's good. This is also going to verify that the brake job was done correctly. Never know, guys. You could rebuild a brake caliper and it can fail on you. Seals could be bad. This just lets the customer know everything is good. Alright, good. And every time you do this, you get more experience points. You're only building your level of experience up. Alright, there we go. And that tells you everything is in the green. Looks like they're going to have their Christmas vacation this week. Let's go ahead and confirm that we have fixed the engine problem. We went ahead and reset the ECU. We ran it on the dyno, so there should be no engine problems. We're going to go ahead and do a fuel test. This is going to verify that we did fix the injectors. 100%. There you go. All this is going to be printing out in the office with Jamie, and she's going to make a file for every customer. That is what I did in my real auto mechanic business. All my diagnosing tools, I used AllData, and my diagnosing scanner tools was hooked up to a computer, and it could give me a printout on it. Before I had the tool that would tell my computer, I had to look up each code and print it out for them. That was just a waste of paper there, but we're going to go ahead and do the electrical meter. Now this one you ain't going to have a printout on. You just got to, you know, write this information down and type it up for them, but that's the reason why I got my lovely wife as my office assistant. And she used to do stuff like this in real life, guys. She was actually a counselor for a college, so she was constantly typing every day. She was constantly doing stuff, so. Alright, and the last and the most important one, the compression test. We know the engine's good because, you know, we just ran it on a dyno, but we got to give them that, you know, we got to give them that proof. Alright, there's the printout of that. I mean, back in the day, people's words used to go a lot further than what they do now. Now you're filled with lies and deception in the world. So you got to do stuff like this. You got to print it out to prove people, because nobody trusts nobody no more. They're like, okay, you tell me that you've done that. I want to see proof that you've done that. A lot of people have that type of attitude nowadays. They're not going to take your word for it until they learn that they can trust you. And this is a new customer. I've never worked on this car before, so we're going to give them proof, and I stand behind my word that I did do everything. Last one, and this is the OBD scan. Everything's looking good. Even the spark plugs are 100%. So that's it. That was the final test. We're going to make sure the vehicle is aligned. Vehicle's aligned good. We'll check the alignment of the headlights. Looking good. All right, customer is ready for their car. We're gonna go ahead and move it out front, and we're gonna get Jamie to call him up. Let's get this thing started. I like hearing it. This thing sounds so weird. Alright, let me move this car. I need to quit playing with it. Alright, move. Yeah, alright guys, I'll meet y'all out front. Alright, so Jamie has done gave the customer a call. You know, we did a detailed wash, a detailed clean on the inside. We replaced, did all the fluids. We're going to check our work order one more time just to make sure everything is in the green and we did not forget nothing. Everything's in the green. So customers are going to be happy. Customers are going to be really happy when they show up. You got fresh brakes, a car that is guaranteed to get you. Oh, I love that emblem. It almost looks like a fleur-de-lis. I know I shouldn't be talking about a tattoo, but I got a tattoo on my arm before, you know, I knew Jesus, and I know now not to mar my body up with stuff, but, you know, I don't know. I don't hold it against people that have tattoos. It depends on the message that you're trying to portray, because I promise my last tattoo would be the one for Jesus, literally. If I was going to have tattoos on my body, I was at least going to put in one in commemoration of him. And on my right hand, I have a Celtic cross with a crown of thorns going around my wrist, representing the crown of thorns that was beat onto Jesus's head, and then the cross that he ultimately paid for our sins on, so we could live for eternity. As long as we believe, that's all we got to do is believe in him, and we're there. So you tell yourself Jesus is my Lord and Savior, and you believe in that, you're out of here. Rapture comes, we're gone. Now, where you get rewarded in heaven from is the good deeds that you do for other people, and this is the reason why I built my business around Christ. So everything that I do is dedicated to him. So customer is going to pick up their car. We're fisting to ka-ching this. Hey, look at there. This is an $8,000 job. We did good on this. We made profits. So Jesus looked out for us on this. I didn't think we was going to make a profit because that head did cost some money, but we come out in the good. So there you go. They're picking up the car. Look at there. We steadily making more money. Alright. So now we got our customer of the day done. So let's figure out, we're gonna head down to the vehicle warehouse, and which on here is called parking, but it's where our vehicle lockup is. And we're gonna pick out our next car that we're gonna build to either be a race car or to either be a car that we're gonna fix up and sell. We'll have to get a hold of Johnny down there at the car lot and see if he's got any demand for any vehicles, and we'll go from there. But let's take a look at our cars again. I want to go to the alley. Well, yeah, just in case people haven't seen all the cars. So, alright. So we got the Hammerdale. This is literally one of the fastest cars in the game. Its factory horsepower is 910 horsepower, and it only weighs, remember that little bitty car that we just worked on? This car only weighs about 400 pounds more, and it has almost 1,000 horsepower, so this thing is extremely fast. Then we got the Hint of Moon, which is the Mitsubishi Eclipse, aka the Paul Walker Mitsubishi Eclipse, because that was the car he drove in the first Fast and the Furious. I know y'all's guys' parents probably know about this car. Wheels are missing from car. So I think we're going to do, we've done built a rear-wheel drive drag car. I think we're going to build this car. You know, I do not idol Paul Walker by any means at all. Jesus is the first person in my life. But one thing I do remember about Paul Walker is the day that he died, he took his money from Hollywood and he started a uh, a charity business where they went out and helped people around the world, children around the world that needed food, water, food, clothing, anything that they needed. He was a person that blessed, that gave them blessings. Hey, I mean, that's exactly what Jesus asked us to do. I don't know Paul Walker's religious background, but I do know that he did do good things. So, for other people, because the day that he died was the day that, he was leaving that event. He was, from that charity that he had created, and him and his buddy were getting into the Porsche 911 Carrera GT, which is on this game. Everybody calls it, AKA the Paul Walker uh, killer, which I don't like that name of that. That's just kind of degrading. Whoever come up with that, they should have thought of a better name than the Paul Walker killer. That is just horrible. But anyways, it was the vehicle that ultimately took Paul Walker out of this world because of manufacturer's defects. I kind of really don't believe that. I kind of believe they were getting into that car, they were flying through there having fun, and something went wrong, and that was the price that. And he paid for it, and he wasn't even driving the car. He was letting his friend, a professional race car driver, drive that Porsche, and somehow they lost control. And that's all it took. They hit a tree, the car burst into flames, and it was downhill from there. But, whenever I see this car, I think about him. So, and he was a good person. I'll give him that. He was, even from a religious point of view. I don't, like I said, I don't know his religious views. I just know that he did good things for people. So I think we're going to build this car. I think we are. We're going to build the Mitsubishi Eclipse. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to move it to the garage, and we'll go ahead and start on it. Alright. Okay, it's supposed to be... Oh, yeah, that's right. It's outside. Alright, so we don't have any wheels for this car right now. But the body is in immaculate condition. I mean, just really, really good. I don't even think the frame's damaged on it, is it? If it is, it ain't very damaged at all. We're going to also pull this engine out. We're going to show y'all how to do a motor swap on here, because if we're going to have a car like Paul Walker had, he had a dual overhead cam turbocharged motor in his first, the Mitsubishi Eclipse that he drove in the first Fast and the Furious. So, I mean, back in the day, those cars didn't really have a lot of horsepower. I think they used to have these little tuner cards. They look almost like a business card, but they had the picture of all the Fast and the Furious cars, which gave the information how fast it was in a quarter mile, how much horsepower. And I think his car only had a little over 300 horsepower. Nowadays, I mean, that's just, just barely tasting the waters. But 300 horsepower in a car that didn't weigh but a little over 2,000 pounds, that was a fast car. People don't understand, in the racing world, power to weight ratio is what wins the race. And traction, if you're so light you can't get no traction, what's the use to having all the power? But they also offered this car. It was made by Talon, an Eagle Talon, and it was an all-wheel drive Mitsubishi Turbo. This is just going to be a front-wheel drive. So, but anyways, let's you know what? Let's let's see what the factory rim size is on this car, and this is where you find it out. You go down here. This is the original car information. The frame is in 90% condition, so we're not gonna have to do any welding, very minimal welding on this car. It only weighed 3,000 pounds. But the original tire size was anywhere from, why did they have a 20-inch rim and okay, so anywhere from a 225 50R20 to their base model having a 205 50R18. So what we're going to run is a 18-inch wheel. We're going to jump up to a 245. I don't know, we may go with a 20-inch wheel and drop it down to a, let's see, every inch you drop the middle number 5 numbers, your profile 5 numbers, so that would be 45, 40, that would be 1920, so it would be a 245, 40 R20. So let's get the car in here on the rack, and we're gonna hit up Wheel World, our rim shop central. Let me rephrase that. They used to go up underneath the name of Wheel World, or at least that's what we come up with. But tire shop central and rim shop. You know, these are the things. So let's look at some rims real quick. We know we're going with an 18-inch. Not an 18-inch, but a 20-inch wheel, and we want to find some rims that were kind of close to his first car rims, or just, you know, just some import looking rims. We ain't gonna build a replica car, but I'm gonna build a Eclipse like if I owned it. I do like those golden style wheels. I do like the BBSs, but I kind of want to show off our brake calipers that we do. So I'm a fan of the 5-star wheels. I always have been, but I want, like, these are really good. I think we're gonna go with these right here, the Rim 16. They're not a heavy offset wheel like these are. These are dished out a whole lot for wide tires, so I think we're gonna go with this one. I think we're gonna go with 4 of them. We're gonna get some 20-inch wheels. Go ahead and get them on the way. They'll be brand new out of the box. We're not going to stick the tires out from up underneath the fenders and get all crazy with it and stance it all out and everything else. It's just going to tear up our suspension faster because you're putting more strain on your wheel hubs. Alright, and then the tires that we're going to need, we are going to run a racing tire, a street performance race tire, not slick, so that way it's still somewhat street legal. Could be frowned upon. Need it to be a 20-inch rim, and we're gonna go with a 255, and the profile is going to be a 40. $3,000 for some tires, boy, that's a lot of money there. These must be some really sticky, soft compound pro race tires, but let's do it. Alright, so anyways, we got our tires and rims in. We're going to go ahead and pull these off of the car. The only reason why I'm getting the tires and rims is so we can roll the vehicle around. That way I don't have to keep getting the forklift. And, oh man, this thing had slicks on it before. Somebody was auto-crossing in this car. Alright, so, well, they auto-crossed it for the last time. But, let's go ahead and get our rims and tires mounted. We're gonna install. Oh yeah, that's gonna look nice there. No, don't take it off. Accidentally hit the wrong button, guys. Get it off of there and come on. I don't know. These tires may be kind of big for the car. They kind of look kind of big. We may have to trade in some tires. I don't know. I don't know. It may work. It may be just because I'm closer to it and it looks bigger than what it actually is. But this is going to show off our slotted, because we are going to build a race car out of this, a street legal race car. So if somebody wants to buy it, they can. But we're going to go show it out at the drag strip, build it, and, you know, giving all credit to Jesus and our God. We build it and to honor Him. So it's going to be a pretty fast car, guys. Anything you dedicate to the Lord, it's going to happen. If it is His plan, and I will say this, I dedicate this car to your build, or building to this car to you, if it be your will. So sometimes, guys, things don't work out the way that we want them to. It may not be our plan. So, but as long as you dedicate it to the Lord, and it doesn't break any of the original laws that God put into place, I think He's going to help you out with it, because you're building it in the name of Jesus. You know, a lot of things in my life didn't work until I started doing this. It was like they would work because I was trying so hard to make it work, but it never wanted to work right. And then I started, you know, saying, all right, I dedicate this to you, and things work so much easier now. And if they're hard to do, and it seems like every time you try to do it, whatever you're doing and it fails, that's Him telling you He don't want you to do this right now. It doesn't say He doesn't want you to do it at all. Just be patient. What you're trying to do will come in time. Dedicate your time to me and you will flourish. This is a promise in the Bible. So we got all of our tires done. Let's go ahead and throw them up here real quick to see what they look like. Well, we need a brake caliper. Alright, there we go. Now, okay, so you're not going to let me... Oh, it doesn't even have a lower control arm. Let's see. Yeah, we're going to have to lift this up because this car don't even have a control arm on it. We can't put no tire and wheel on it right now. Without that, definitely. Alright. We had some control arms in stock. Just throw them on there and put a tie rod in link. Throw in a drive axle real quick. That way we don't put stress on the main bearings. And Lord have mercy. Front drive axle H. So in order to get this thing on here, alright, let me tag this. We're going to have to order some drive shafts. I'm just going to order 2 of them because I'm pretty sure since that was a race car, the other one's probably worn out. We're going to go ahead and pick up about 4 of these just to have some in stock for next time. O'Reilly's going to be bringing them over, but let's see if I can find another tire to put it on. I just want to see what it looks like. Oh man, it seems like everything that I'm trying to do is just not wanting to work. Alright, so I guess it ain't gonna work if it don't have the right tools or the right equipment. Yes, is there a control arm missing on this side too? Yeah, there's a bushing missing, but let's go ahead and put that in there. We don't want to tear up anything. There we go. Finally got at least one rim on. I just want to see what it looks like on the car. Ooh boy, those rims are huge. It fits up underneath the fender well. I don't know, guys. I may have got too big of a wheel for this car. Maybe we should have stayed with the 18-inch. I don't know. We may be pulling those back off. I don't know if this is going to work. Because those are some... once I get it down on the ground, I will know. Alright, so we got our drive axles in. Let's get this out of the box and stabbed in. Alright. I'll be able to see it from this side. Alright, it's kind of big, but... Yeah, it's tucking the tires up underneath the fenders pretty badly. I'm afraid if they hit a bump, it's going to actually rub the tire into the fender, or they're going to have to run a performance spring on here, and it's just going to be a all-around rough ride. Let's see. Alright, so it's on the ground. It's just so close. We've done already ordered the rims and stuff, so I really don't want to have to return them, because they don't have a return policy for mounted wheels and tires. Once you get them out of the package and you install them, that's it. They're yours. Should have rolled the tire up next to the vehicle and seen if it was going to work. But I mean, I guess it'll be alright. We'll just have to tighten up this coilover up front and just make sure that it doesn't have too much suspension travel, and we should be good. They shouldn't rub up underneath normal loading conditions, but because we put these big tires and rims, we are going to have to remove the back seat so they don't put too much weight in this car. But we can at least get it rolled around now, so we are going to move this to our paint shop. And we're going to repaint this car, and I think I already got the paint that I want to go with. Let's see if I can find that pearl. Yeah. Everybody remembers this color, don't they? We're doing it. I'll pull the hood off, and we're going to black that hood out. But we're going to go ahead and go with that. Whoa, what in the world just happened? That was not the color I chose. Maybe that was the primer. Okay. I forgot you did have to primer the vehicle. So, it was a primer, or it was a dual coat. What it is they put the first coat down of green, and then they come over it with a translucent pearl, which gives it this final, final effect look. It's a real bright neon green. I like it though. We're gonna pull the hood off. Do I want to do the trunk lid like that? And we're gonna put an actual spoiler on this car too. We're fixing to do that. Let's hold on. Let me see if I can actually remove the spoiler. Let me look at something. Something is up right here. Yeah, right here. Yeah, I don't have the bonus part. I understand that, but oh, look at there. We can even put body kits on the side. That's cool. Hold on. We probably just messed up, but we still got some paint put to the side, so let's see what they offer. Body tuning. Yeah, we're gonna need that. We are gonna run the European tail lights. Let me go ahead and get the projector. We've already got this hood. We've already got that front bumper, so we don't need that. Oh, we already looks like we already had that rear bumper, I think. Let me see. Boy, I'm hitting all the wrong buttons today. Yeah, we already had that bumper. So, whoops. Yeah, we're gonna take that back off. We're gonna return that. So, I was just seeing if it was any different, and it's not. So, alright, so we got that on there. But I did see the skirting. So, get out of that mode. This thing gets on my nerves sometimes, boy. Vehicle add-ons. We won't. I saw the skirt on the side, but I don't know how you add it though. We're gonna go with which? Yeah, he had this type of wing. I remember it. That one. Yep. All right. Let's see if it will let us. This thing is working my nerves so bad right now. Right here. Whoa. That's kind of a big spoiler. mean, that thing looks like an airplane wing on the back. We just need to make it a little bit smaller. I don't know how you modify these parts. Let's see. I mean, it's kind of big. You don't have necessary parts. So there must be something, DLC that I don't have. That, I mean, that is just ridiculous. Maybe it's because of the way I'm looking at it. And it goes through the other... Okay, we gotta figure this out. Something is up, and I'm just missing it, maybe. Maybe there's a regular trunk lid that doesn't have the spoiler on the back. No, that's all the one. That's the only one that they got is the one with the spoiler on the back. Well, we got new tail lights, so we're gonna go ahead and put them in, because these are kind of worn out a little bit. Oh, they were only 96%. That's okay. We'll sell the other tail light. It was that one that was worn out. So take this out. We do want new headlights for sure. So we don't want old ones that could be oxidized. We got new LED lights. So yeah, that one's 70%. And then we got a hood, which yeah, we'll see. All right, let's paint that hood. Oh yeah, it won't let me do that. Let me move this to the... That's another thing that aggravates me. It won't, I guess because of overspray or something. They don't want you painting in the booth. And then Jamie's gonna move this car into here. Boy, I'm telling you. Get it out of the way. Let me just put this thing up in the parking, man. There, get out of here. Let's see you move it now. It's at the parking garage now. That thing. Ooh. I don't like having to move cars around everywhere whenever I'm trying to work. Where is it? It's gonna be in the hood section. Yeah, right there. It's a 66, but we'll be able to fix whatever's wrong with the hood. That is the factory color. You know what? We're gonna go with matte. We want it to be matte black. I don't really want it shiny. We just want it matte. Alright. And we're gonna go work out the problems that it's got. Whatever it's saying, there's something up with the hood, like it's damaged in some way. So let's go ahead and fix it. Alright. We went ahead and took care of the hood problem. That way we kind of have an overall look of what this car is going to look like. Come on. There we go. Alright. Kind of looks familiar. I'm not liking how the spoiler's doing on the back. It's going through the factory spoiler. So, I mean, if it works, it works. It just kind of looks weird. I ain't gonna say it, but it kind of looks a little bit ricey. But that other spoiler's just not big enough. So, like, why won't it let me take this other spoiler off? But anyways, I guarantee you there's probably some DLC that I don't have. So we're gonna go ahead and move it back to rack 1. I just kind of wanted to see what the car would look like. And I think Paul Walker had like some bluish racing seats in his car too. But we are going to do away with the blue seats. We're going to get some performance leather black seats. That way it matches with the interior. So hold on, Jamie's coming in here and checking on me. How much more do you lack in there? Okay, so you're almost done? Alright. Let's see. Yeah, I only got 5 more minutes left on this camera battery anyways. Look at this car. Look familiar? Do you recognize it? We just watched it last night on YouTube. Yeah. Ah, see, even Jamie knew it. It's a Mitsubishi Eclipse. Alright, so anyways, even Jamie recognized it. She knew it was, it looked like Paul Walker's vehicle. But alright guys, so my battery is once again fixing to go dead. So, anyways, kind of wanted to show y'all the next car that we were going to be building. We are going to be doing an engine swap. We are going to keep this engine and see if we can't rebuild this one on the side. And if another customer needs an engine in a car, we can just immediately swap that old engine out and drop this one straight in and put it into there. And that's another thing, developers to this game, please add crate motors where we can buy engines that are already completely assembled. I mean, I understand in the game, you know, the concept is to build the motor, but you know, give us an option where we can buy crate engines, you know, pre-assembled motors. Uh, you know, they don't have to be full racing. You know, if you wanted to add that, you can have a crate option for a full race motor where every component that you can possibly upgrade is upgraded. And then you just got your basic factory crate motors. It's all stock motor. That way, whenever we are doing these engine swaps, we're not building the engine from ground up if we just wanted to put a factory motor in. Kind of like JDM engine swapping. You get factory engines that produce more power and put them in cars that never was meant for them to go in. Like a friend of mine's got a Honda, I think he's got like a 94 EG Honda Civic hatchback, and it's got an Acura MDX motor, a J37 in this car. So, and we're talking 300 plus horsepower factory, and this is factory. He's got a standalone Haltech ECU and wiring harness, and I think just with the throttle body, the bigger throttle body, he had to do a throttle body relearn procedure, and he put that intake spacer off of the Honda Odyssey minivan. Off of the J35. He took the studs off of the intake and put it on his J37, which already has a humongous intake manifold. It just didn't have that spacer on it to get more torque. He put all this stuff on there and did a cat delete and put straight pipe on it, and this car produced like 340 wheel horsepower, 300 and almost 350 whenever he put the flex fuel option on it and tuned it with E85, and that was not even touching one internal part. He just put the engine in there, did the bolt-ons, did the flex fuel option, tuned it, 350 wheel horsepower. And that's a factory engine, because that J37 had the best intake manifold. It had factory forged pistons and rods, so you didn't have to build it. You could pretty much bash on this thing as soon as you got it, as long as you kept the oil in it. But anyways, guys, my camera's about to go dead, so I'm gonna catch y'all tomorrow. Jamie's ready to go to the house because she's wanting to do pour arts, so we're fixing to go and do that tonight. So, hey, guys, check out our other link in our YouTube channel. We got the Driven by Christ pour art section, and you can actually see me and Jamie in real life on this channel. You know, it's not just me talking to you, and you're like, ooh, I wonder what this guy looks like. I have nothing to hide. I don't care if people know what I look like. So, but, anyways, and y'all get to see Jamie too, and y'all better keep your eyeballs in your head. I found out somebody's mugging my wife's son. Y'all gonna find no, I'm just playing. But anyways, guys, I'll catch y'all tomorrow whenever we open up, and we'll catch a customer vehicle, and we'll continue the build of the Mitsubishi Eclipse. So later, guys. Y'all have a blessed night.